On the dark night of August 8, 1963, a Royal Mail train was traveling from Glasgow to London. One of its carriages was filled with cash, an amount worth £67 million in today's money. The train driver, Jack Mills, pushed forward through the darkness until suddenly he saw a red signal ahead. That wasn't normal. Hidden inside that darkness was one of the greatest robbery plans in history, the Great Train Robbery. Months earlier, some of Britain's most notorious criminals sat together to plan something extraordinary. At the center of it all was Bruce Reynolds, the mastermind. He had insider information from a senior security official within the Royal Mail. A secret, a high-value package carriage known as HVP, and on a specific day, it would carry an unusually large amount of cash. Reynolds had never robbed a train before, so he expanded his team. He brought in a skilled gang known as the South Coast Raiders. Soon, more than 15 men were involved, all working toward one goal: to rob a moving train without firing a single bullet. On August 7, 1963, at 6:30 p.m., the train departed from Glasgow. It was scheduled to arrive in London by 4 a.m. the next morning. There were 12 carriages and 72 postal workers on board, sorting mail as the train moved. But something unusual was about to happen. The high-value carriage was not yet attached. It waited separately at Naney Valley Station. Years earlier, security had been upgraded, alarm systems were installed in high-value carriages, but on this night, the upgraded carriage was out of service. Instead, an older carriage was used. No alarms, no protection, and this information had already reached the robbers. At Naney Valley, the carriage was attached, and inside it was not the usual amount. Instead of a few $100,000, it carried over £3 million, equivalent to $67 million today. As the train moved forward, the robbers waited in the darkness, hidden, silent. They activated their plan. They manipulated the signal, turning it from green to red. When the train reached the crossing, Jack Mills saw it. He hesitated, but stopped. Darkness surrounded everything. The assistant driver stepped down to contact the signal box, but the phone line was already cut. Before he could react, robbers emerged from the shadows. They grabbed him, then stormed the engine. Jack Mills resisted, but was struck on the head. He collapsed. The robbers detached the front section of the train, including the valuable carriage. Their plan was to move it elsewhere, about 1 kilometer away at Bridego Bridge, where their truck was waiting. They had even brought a retired train driver, but he couldn't operate the modern engine, so they forced Jack Mills to drive it. At the bridge, they broke into the carriage, overpowered the staff, tied them down. Inside, 128 bags of cash, weighing over 2.5 tons. They had just 15 minutes. A human chain formed. Bags passed rapidly, one after another. They took 120 bags and left the rest behind. Everything had gone perfectly, until one mistake. A robber told a staff member, "Don't move for 30 minutes." That single sentence gave police a critical clue. The robbers escaped and reached their hideout. 43 kilometers away from robbery scene, they celebrated, even played Monopoly with real money, but it didn't last. Police quickly calculated how far they could have traveled, so they started searching in 50-kilometer radius. They tried to erase evidence, they wiped fingerprints, planned to burn the hideout, but the plan failed. A neighbor alerted the police. Inside the hideout, investigators found clues, and one crucial mistake: fingerprints on a Monopoly set was not erased. Within days, 14 out of 16 robbers were caught. 2 escaped. One of them was the insider who made it all possible. His identity was never revealed. The court called it the greatest train robbery of the century.